Well, that's okay. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for coming, you guys. We really appreciate it. We're just waiting for some people, just getting everything settled backstage. But while we do that, I wanted to show you guys, if I could. How do you guys know about I Know That Voice? What I've done is I brought a little preview of the film for you guys. If you want to see it, you want to see it. There it is. Did it freeze? Yeah. Are we waiting for AD crew to show up? I'll turn down the lights, guys. A real movie theater and everything. Awesome. Oh, it's across the room. Well, put some foot into it, man. Come on. Still walking. Still walking. Awesome. Got the lights down a little bit. Yeah. All my here to find out what they think, so that we can show you. How are you?
Run back across the room.
Audience, what do you do? I said, I'm a voice actor. Okay. Hey, they have dip.
Just friends trying to explain what exactly do you do when you're a voice actor? What does that mean? Well, I go to a room and they give me a script. You know when you hear that name, you do one man. That's me. You're the one man? No, I'm not the one man. I'm the guy that says one. Well, that's just that voice. Yeah. But did you ever stop to think that there's actually a guy in the room reading that?
We brought people in for tours and to visit and stuff like that. And you really see it. It's just, I had no idea this is it. I did this.
It's
I don't know
such
what
an
they
intricate
thought.
process.
Yeah.
But I always say that if people had any idea how much work really went into animation, they would look at it with a lot more sort of a sense of awe.
There's nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust your picture. We are controlling the transmission.
And there's always that fun game of going, who is that? Or listening to commercials and hearing the voice of like, I know who that is.
You're on SpongeBob? I love that. Who, Mr. Krabs? What do you mean you don't know? I love like the look in the little kids' eyes when they find out and they say, "Look, can you do the voice?" Which happens nearly every day. That's sort of the way their eyes pop.
Bobby kind of sounds like this. A Jewish fellow? That's so interesting.
It's a woman, and she plays Bart Simpson, and it freaks kids out.
It's just saying, do Bart, and if it's a little guy, I'll say close your eyes, because come on, I'm a chick. I don't have 9 spikes on the top of my head, I'm certainly not 10 years old, but, you know, for look at close your eyes, hi, Bart Simpson, what's happening? All you need really is the sound, right? I think it's great.
On camera, I'm pretty much limited to, you know, what you see here. I mean, yeah, you could put me in old age makeup, and I gotta play an older version of myself. But you can't put me in young makeup and make me, you know, 10 years old again. But I can play 10, you know, in a cartoon. I can easily do that. I can play, you know, an older version of myself. You know, I can play a female if I wanted to.
Doing a show like American Dad, we have such an enormous cast every single week, and because we can't, you know, be using 20 or 30 actors, we have to fill in and do a lot of different characters. So I've gotten over the last 8 years to really be able to stretch my range and really get an opportunity to do things that I wouldn't normally have gotten to do.
Animation, I think now for me takes the place of stage, because stage I can do lots of different characters that I would never even cast on film, but it's like stretching. You know, you can stretch on stage and do, you know, very bizarre old men or young women or boys or whatever you want to do on stage. You do the same thing in animation.
And everyone's kind of got a little bag of tricks and a little cart that they bring around with them, actually. At least that's how I look at it. You know, occasionally someone needs like a pig, modify the column of air. You can just switch it up there in all these just horrific kinds of ways.
It is a place where people who live and breathe and bleed for this stuff go to be passionate with one another.
The cons are great. It's like I'm a Beatle. It's nuts. This is gonna be fun. All right, Big Daddy Comic Con. I should have put some of that eye stuff on my face.
I have to get my box lunch.
Going to San Diego Comic Con or Dragon Con in Atlanta or any of these places, you know, it's like a campus. You work it all the time. You know, it's really fun.
Anything you're a rabid fan of is cool, man. And it's like, I think that the Comic Con thing did something really great because it gave these people who are so into comics and cartoons and fantasy and anime and all these mediums, it's like it gave them a place to go.
Yeah, conventions are a trip. It's really been amazing to see the fans.
Isn't that ridiculous? These people are that sick. They're super fans.
We do a signing and we get to interact with the kids and fans. You know, that's always great.
And we'll put the date so we all know where we are.
It's a chance for somebody who really likes something, and you get to actually meet the people who do it.
It's a place where fans can completely be themselves, you know, where they can live out their fantasy with people that are of like mind. Good for them.
Oh my dog, I'm dyslexic.
These people know who we are. It's really lovely to treat you like rock stars. And these characters have such a profound effect on many people's lives. And that's a very special thing to be part of.
It's also like cool to meet all the people who actually want to see you. It's like fun. I like doing panels and stuff.
I love doing Comic-Cons and comic book shows where they are gracious enough to have voice people come and talk about the craft. There's so many people that light up that are interested in it, and I've been blown away.
Still better than your cookie. What's wrong with my cookie?
The best part, and it's gonna sound so cheesy, but it's the truth, is you meet the fans and you go, thank you. Thank you for being into it. I'm glad you like that. It's worth doing and it's fun. If you can get through the sea of people.
Sometimes you walk around like a baby because you can't move faster than a baby can, and you're just like waddling. And everyone's like bumper to bumper. That's why you can't. Everyone's just clustered together. Celebrities at Comic-Con, they escort them through like these back alleyways throughout Comic-Con. They escort them like basically through the garbage area. It was just rad.
It's so simple to that, you know, where the loading dock is. You know,
I know, you gotta hustle, man.
This is Comic-Con for me.
Where's the Jake the dog? Join the next year.
I wanted to make this documentary because I wanted to honor these people. I wanted to show that my peers are really incredible. They're an incredibly talented bunch. I wanted to show those people. I wanted to show their face. I wanted to show them as champions of the industry.
On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Guys, guys.
I'll be there till 7 tonight. Come by and pick up a copy if you can. Get on our VIP list on the website, iknowthatvoice.com. Like us on Facebook, I Know That Voice. But please come by a copy. Come get a copy. It's a collector's item. It's awesome. I'm so excited. I've sold a bunch of them, and please come get them. I'm thrilled. But right now, I'd like to bring everybody else on. Can I do that? Ladies first, stage, Amy Long. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Tom is here. Everyone's favorite bureaucrat, Hermes Conrad, Phil Barr is here. And the two-time Emmy Award winner for Best Voiceover, Mr. Maurice LaMarche! There's people in the balcony. Pretty cool, wow. It's like we're in London. Yes.
It's all. Jimmy Walter was repeatedly in the vat of the finest creams and oil.
Well, I guess we should just get started with the Q&A.
Yeah, so I've got a mic over here. This other man over here in the lab coat has a mic. If you have a question, please come line up over here. We're going to be doing one question at a time from everybody, so that we can
It feels almost like a
try to get as many people with this question as possible. Please come on line up right now.
I guess we'll start over here.
Hey guys, met you the other day.
Hey, yes. How are you?
Yeah, all right.
Glasgow.
Yeah, that's right. Woo! So I wanted to ask you guys as a whole, because I love the idea of the DVD, but I wanted to be a voice actor since I found out that there were humans doing the Disney princesses. So, but I never did it, and a couple years ago I decided to actually give it a try, and I've taken some theater courses and some voice acting courses, and done a few amateur things like fandom, stuff like that. But what I'm wondering is I'm moving back to the States soon, and I want to actually give it a go. What's like the first step to do to make that transition from amateur voice acting hobbyist to actually do I invest in trying to get an agent or a professional?
You already have a good start. Yeah. You have a good start. You did the right thing, taking some classes and that sort of stuff. Yeah. The most important thing to be a voice actor is to be an actor, first and foremost.
Seconds have a voice.
Yes, exactly. That's a big deal, actually. You can't really, not a lot of minds in cartoons.
Lines in voice acting. That's why we love it.
There's, I would Google, voice demos, and try to find someone in your area that will record you. Try and record a 60 to 90 second voice demo showing what kind of different things you can do, show your range, and not, no more than 90 seconds.
I'll add to that. You need to get with a good voice demo producer. If you want to compete in Los Angeles, make your demo in Los Angeles. But as John and Phil both said, and Lauren will concur, be a good actor first. So study improv. Study, sketch comedy. Take a dramatic acting class. Just a regular scene study class. Become a good actor, and then when it's time, and save your pennies, because you're going to probably spend nigh on $1,000 for your demo. Get with somebody really good like Bill Holmes, Mark Rao in Los Angeles. People that do, Chuck Duran. They do great demos that get heard. And they really, I know especially Bill Holmes has a method of really loosening you up and getting your most natural sound out of you, because that's what they're buying now. They're buying an honest talk to, the audience if you're doing spokes voice work, that type of thing. Gone is the announcer ring, and it's now more just about talking honestly to one person.
Oh, I have one more suggestion too. Dee Bradley Baker, who you saw in John's
Yes,
film.
who steals my movie. Thank you, Dee.
He's the one who did that. That one. He has a website. If you Google him, Dee Bradley Baker, D-E-E, he has a detailed list of things that you can do do if you want to get started in voice acting, and it's a very wonderful, generous thing that you did.
Yeah, actually, I was going to suggest that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I want to be a voiceactor.com.
And also, this is the other thing. We can tell you all the pointers that you can take, but it's your journey. It's what you're doing. So it could completely be different from what we say, you know. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't know any two voice actors who have the same path into voice acting.
There's no guaranteed way. If there was, somebody would actually write the book, and it would always work, and then the word would spread, and that the author would become a millionaire. But I'll tell you one thing that you've got going for you also is, you know, they will very often say authentic in whatever the dialect is. Now you're already a Scotsman, so there's work for you. You know, you can do accent elimination if you want, but don't eliminate your accent completely, because when it comes time, they're going to want somebody who actually is Scottish for a part in something, and so that will serve you. Use yourself first, and then build from that.
Yeah, that goes for the same for everybody here from Atlanta. If you got a great Southern voice, then use that.
Roll Tide.
All right, Alabama, take it easy. We're tired over here. It's Bulldog country, son.
These are sports you're talking about.
Yes, sports, yes. Sorry, nude.
I wish you had a large sock with manure in it.
Next question will be over here.
Through the weekend, what have been some costumes that have been your favorite from shows that you have particularly been a part of or worked with?
Would you please restate the question? Get a little closer in on the mic, please.
Over the weekend, through walking around and seeing all the costumes, what have been some favorites from shows that you have particularly worked on?
I just saw Steampunk Bender, which was really, really cool. I had to get a picture with them and tweet that. So that was really cool.
I love.
I saw the best Spock I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 7-foot Spock.
7-foot Spock.
Yeah.
7-foot Spock.
And then there's the alternate.
Sorry.
And we've got a couple of alternate universe Zoidbergs.
Oh yeah, there you go.
The box episode. There's a Chewbacca walking around too.
Oh, that's
Chewbacca's 7 feet tall. It's not our show, but it's from the genre. So yeah, this has been some really great costumes.
I saw an Adam Hughes Catwoman, and like she got the voice too, and like it literally like gave me goosebumps.
I also saw what's the girl in The Fifth Element?
The character is Lilu.
Lilu?
That's the most daring costume.
Let me tell you something.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I wanna make that go pregnant right there. I'll give you a multi-pass to my pants. That's crazy right now.
That's basically a bandage. That's an ace bandage.
It was less than an ace bandage. It was awesome. Thank you, Atlanta. Okay.
Any other questions?
Next question. Yes. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
That was my question. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a voiceover actor myself, and I was basically wanting to know, once you've taken that step and you've gotten that agent and you've got your voiceover demo reel, I kind of want to know what your personal journeys were like as far as marketing yourself and promoting yourself. I mean, because a lot of it is, I don't necessarily want to, sit at home and wait for auditions to come to me, What were your personal journeys like once you got that demo and you got your agent? What, kind of launched into your careers now?
Well, like I said, everybody's just different. I know Lauren and I weren't you doing more on camera and stuff before you started doing voice acting?
Yes.
So we came at it from that angle. John, were you doing, how much on camera were you doing?
I was doing voiceover in New York before I got to Los Angeles, but it was all advertisements for radio and television. But I was doing stand-up. I had a stand-up act, and Maurice has a background in stand-up comedy. He was one of the original young comedians on the Rodney Dangerfield HBO. I was doing stand-up in New York, and then when I moved to Los Angeles, there was a lot less advertisements and a lot more animation. And it was a nice fit. It was a really good fit, so that's why.
Worked out well for you?
Yeah.
Yes, all right?
Yeah, it worked out pretty good, boss. Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Here's a little something for your trouble. Thank you, Joe. It's money. Thanks so much. That's money. It's money, something for your trouble. It's money. You want I should give you the clamps?
But once you start to book work, word gets around that you're capable.
Yeah.
Because once somebody finds out you've done the job, then it's just like, okay, he got in the room, and not only that, he or she, nailed it. Pass that word around. This person is good to work with. Yeah. So you don't really have to, advertise yourself to the fans first. You have to advertise yourself to your agent and to the casting agents.
Yeah. Marketing for me has never been about marketing. I mean, I've never had an awareness of that particular mechanics of that. My story is very much, one of doing this over here, stand-up comedy, and having an agent come up and go, with all the voices you do, you could probably do voiceover work, and me going, well, I heard it was a closed door, that's why I didn't try. But all right, if you want to send me out an audition, it's great. And I literally got pulled into the world of voiceover over a period of time. The best marketing I've ever done is just to show up and do good work. Show up, give them a dime for their nickel, just be the best I can be better than I was yesterday, and help out.
Yeah,
word gets out that you're reliable, word gets out that you do the work, and it gets out real quick. And I'll be very honest with you, if you screw up, back in the 80s, I had a drinking and drug problem, and word got out on me real fast, and I was fired off of 4 shows in the same week. So word spreads like wildfire if you're good, and word spreads like wildfire when you're not so good. And luckily, that was the wake-up call I needed, and I got clean and sober on January 20th, 1989.
And now I do all the drinking for him.
Thank you. And it came back. I'm one of the lucky ones where it came back, but I had to work extra hard and show them that that I'm there, I'm reliable. And over time, it's worked out. I'm very lucky. That's my marketing.
And the 2 Emmys are proof positive of that.
Everybody on this cast deserves it. I don't know why I'm working on it, but I truly have those Emmys on behalf of the cast, because we are a family on this show. And it was a lovely thing when I gave credit to my castmates both times, because everybody's Emmy worthy on this show, right?
It's a little something for your trouble.
It's money. It's money. It's money. It's a little something for you. It's Miami. Sign it.
All right. Hi. So I just want to say I was very lucky to see you guys Friday morning. It was excellent. That was a very good Tracy Morgan that you've done now twice, John. It was a very good Woody Allen that you've done now twice, Maurice. You both have a very wide vocal range, and I wanted to know if there were any other characters or celebrities that you find you don't do very often at panels that you could pull out?
I don't really get asked to do the Paul Lynde part. You crazy kids with your outfits. I don't get asked to do my Charles Nelson Riley. Who's the other 60s gay man? You people.
Oh, can you do your Alan Alda?
Jeez, Zoidberg, leave some for the enemies to kill. That was one of those voices, I just pulled it out. I said, IHawk, and I'm like, no. I gotta do Alan Alda. Now, luckily, I'd always done Howard Stern, who I always thought was It's, Howard Stern is, all right, Rob, everyone else is in the news. So it's that same block pullback. So I just kind of took it up into the tenor range and became like, geez, like, leave some for the enemy. But it was like, I've been a MASH fan. I find if you've got a voice that lives in your head from television shows you love and admire, I can generally, and I think most of us can generally, channel them down. It's where's hot for you. Like there was an example, I never tried to do Ron Alone before, but he was there. He just came. And that's how, if you're studying voiceover, you'll discover the voices will find you. You won't even know you'll be able to do them, and they'll just come out of you.
And another thing is, if you do a bad impression, sometimes that bad impression can be a voice all its own.
Yeah.
So you can do that. In the film, Hank Azaria talks about how his Mo is kind of a bad Pacino. He's got another character, I can't remember the name of it, but it's kind of a bad Stallone. Lenny's a bad Stallone.
Hank Azaria is the richest shitty impressionist I know. Those poor bastards took a pay cut to $230,000, $400,000. Those poor Simpsons actors.
Yeah, well, the money they're getting, pennies compared to the money that show's making for Fox.
Oh yeah.
They got to do it. See, that's the thing I always find, like people talk about the numbers. The people on Friends were getting $1 million an episode when that show ended. Roughly 15 years short of where the Simpsons are now. And they ain't no Friends lunchboxes. Ain't no Friends figures.
Merch is all about the merch. It's all about. But what you're saying is true. I mean, it can really serve you well to just do like the Toucan Sam character started out as with Paul Frees doing a kind of a bad Ronald Colman impression. He was too resonant. The real Ronald Colman was, if I were king, what tribute nation could I bring to full beneath your scepter? And yet, his was, on your nose, it's always nose, get on. It was kind of an okay Ronald Colman, but it became its own Toucan Sam. So, and then when he died, and they were looking for a replacement, I ended up with the part because I was the only guy not doing Ronald Colman, but doing my impression of Paul Frees doing Ronald. I've been Toucan Sam since 1987. I've now had the job longer than Paul Frees had. So it's a long shot.
Follow that nose right to the back. That's for real. You can't stand it. I cuss, that's right. Fruit Loops.
Yes, Superman.
It's DragonCon 2013.
Oh, nice.
America's greatest voice actors are here to present to us their favorite moments from Futurama.
Nice.
Thank you for practicing up in the bathroom from the mirror. I'm a bit low though, so it's what it is. I met you guys though. Hi again.
Hello.
Bit insane, sorry. But yeah, what would be some of your favourite parts recording from actually Futurama, since it's a Futurama panel, if you're brings back to Futurama?
Some of my favorite parts recording, Bender was always a trip.
You do Bender?
I was my new them. That's me right there. Randy thought he great though. Less than Dorothy.
Is Randy ever actually named?
Actually, he had the other. Hey, it's Randy. Hi, kid.
Sounds like a sitcom.
What's funny about Randy was he was originally drawn as an old man. He was just man in the mob. And when they were like, Johnny, you need a man in the mob. I was like, okay, cool. Is there anything you want me to do? Like, no, not really. I was like, okay, well, in a mob, there's always some really angry, effeminate guy. This is bullshit! Excuse me! And so I just kind of ran with it. And everybody laughed about it. All of a sudden,
everybody except the guy in character design was like, back to the drawing board.
Gotta put a pink jacket on this guy. Jeez.
Well, what's cool is that, you know, he's like, you know, he's out and proud in the year 3000, so, you know, that's kind of cool. You know, it's a bit progressive on our part.
My favorite one off was when you just shouted the first Brannigan episode where it was like, you know, Cameron is, you know, the bottom.
You suck!
I was doing
yeah, Juror. She's
Yeah,
great as
because
Juror.
Mo was Laura, and
Yeah.
I was the son Juror. And you know, that was fun.
That was fun. I like doing bubblegum tape.
Oh,
Because for me, it was always like, I was thinking about those old Globetrotters cartoons, where you get like the athlete doing voice acting, which is always just like the flattest possible voice acting. Well, now listen here, Fonzie. What I'm trying to do is help you with your problem. It's not acting, but something close to it.
And it's funny because I do Curly Joe, one of the other Globetrotters.
Yeah, he talk like this.
And it is. Now, you look at it just like, hey man, that's pushing a little bit. But it's funny because that was my take on an old kung fu movie. With horrible dubbing. And one of the lead kung fu actors was black. And I remember this one line.
Lee Chan, hit him in the arm,
It was like a pressure point thing or something. And I was like, I have to do that. I can get away with it. I'm going to get it more.
If somebody in 1972 thought that was a black voice, someone now will.
You know, but it's fun. That's it.
Yeah! Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Are there any characters or personas that you've heard that you were, like, I guess we say professionally jealous of, just going, you know, man, I wish I came up with that character?
Bender.
It's cool.
I read for Bender. I just did a total Reverend Jim.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I shining metal ass.
Joe would have tanked if I got that. Well, we like all the ancillary characters, but the breakaway robot characters just isn't working.
My favorite is Zoidberg.
Why not Zoidberg?
Everybody knows Zoidberg. Even Lauren Tom does Zoidberg.
Well, the hard thing about Zoidberg is the accent of the voice. It's the meat and the... It's the lips.
All right, it's enough Zoidberg. That's true, we walk around doing Billy's voices.
Yeah.
Can you do the... Was that Red Bottle?
I can't even do that. Billy does this weird.
The sounds that Billy does with Zoidberg is where
he does something with his hand.
Well, he's a radio.
Yeah,
So everything he does doing
has
this
to
so
do
he
that.
can hear himself properly.
Yeah, otherwise-
Because if you do this, I'm going to do this. I wasn't even being the brain when I commanded you. And then talk, you really, it's like listening to yourself on a tape recorder because your own head carries the bass response of your voice stronger than anything else. So when you hear yourself on playback on tape, how many people here hate their voice playback on tape? Because it sounds too high, doesn't it? You sound gay, don't you? So this allows you to hear you the way you really sound. And that's why Billy does it. I think that's part of the reason. I mean, yes, it's an old radio trick, but he also was very aware of the sound of his own voice and he manipulated it even more definitely than he might normally have. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. I first got to work, I worked with Billy on our, the very first thing he ever did was this thing in 1987 called The New Adventures of Beanie and Cecil. It ran 4 episodes. 4 episodes ran on ABC.
And you're the only person that's seen it. Sorry.
Billy West as Cecil, me as Dishonest John, Mark Hildreth from V and Resurrection as Beanie, and Jim McGeorge, the original Uncle Captain, as Uncle Captain. Written by Chuck Lorre, right? And Penny Gordetsky. So, I mean, the pedigree on this show, and animated by John Crispolucci for the last 4 episodes. But all of a sudden, there's this little redheaded guy, and he was kind of chubby in those days, and I was very scared. But I thought, well, I've got a brother, a guy who can do this. A guy who has so many voices inside of him. And I, in my opinion, surpassed me. He was amazing. It was like watching somebody from another planet with powers and abilities far beyond mortal men. That's Billy West.
We've watched Billy do 3 pages of dialogue by himself.
By himself.
Yeah, we just take a break.
Yeah, it's like hands-free. It's like riding on a roller coaster downhill. Let's watch Billy do this!
Remember the first couple of episodes?
Wait, I was going to tell the same story. Oh no, I was going to talk about the scene in the first episode where the professor introduces Fry to Zoidberg. I remember watching Billy record that, like on the fly. I mean, this was like the very beginning. Like I had never seen anybody do 3 voices, all consecutively, talking to each other, like multiple, not just
talking amongst himself.
Yeah. And when you play that, when you watch that episode, there's no way you can tell it's the same human being.
Yeah. Just can't. But I remember, like, the first episode, I threw you a pillow and said, you're going to need this. Remember? Because Billy was so goddamn funny, and John was like...
I had to eat the pillow, pretty much. Because I kept ruining takes. I thought I was going to get fired, because I was laughing too much. Yeah, too funny. Ridiculous.
Hello. Hi. I'm a little tired. With one of these long-running shows, or any long-running show that you've ever done, does it ever make your schedule kind of hard, and have you ever missed any opportunities that you really wanted to do for a show that you're already in?
Well, I'm supposed to be the female lead in Sons of Anarchy, but I'm committed to the future.
No, you know what? The good thing about doing voiceover is you can actually work around some gigs, and you know, we record in an ensemble, but after you've recorded with the ensemble, and if due to scheduling conflicts you have to come in and record alone, you really have an idea of what's going on with your fellow actors before you record. So, you know, it can always be moved around.
Yeah, that's the benefit of a long-running show, is that they know how we work together. And even though they like to be able to hear the whole script, once they're in recording mode, it's like, okay, if John's got to go out of town, we can all hear Bender in our heads enough that we're reading lines against, you know, somebody, one of us reading in, you know, somebody. We all have the feel.
Yeah.
So like, if somebody's got to miss something, and also the producers are, you know, generous enough to accommodate for people's schedules. You know, like Katie, you know, or if any of us have to miss for something, we know we're not going to rock the boat. Unless sometimes you get down to scheduling and something's about to air and they need a line.
Yeah.
Then it can be tough. But
It's not the same as like an on-camera sitcom where if you're on a show, you can't really be starring in a different show. But in animated, you could be starring in a few shows at the same time.
Is that right, John?
Oh yeah! I'm gonna take over the world, baby!
Hey, I just got a request for John, if that's all right. I think Samuel Jackson did an amazing job with Go the F to Sleep, but I have an excerpt I would love to hear Bender say. It's on my phone, I have to bring it over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Moore.
dreamland. The froggy has made his last leap. Hell no, you can't go to the bathroom. You know where you can go? You can go to fucking sleep.
Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it.
And the children are being escorted out. And the students.
See you later, fuckers! Holy day, hold on a second. You can't. The F word.
That's not the Wednesday.
It's
Beginning of a new year. I've done everything to offend you.
Shana Tova.
When you first get a script, do you ever like burst out laughing?
I flush it down the toilet. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Burst out laughing because one of the lines is like really ridiculous.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
The scripts make us laugh out loud when we get them.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I will sit in my big comfy chair the night before I record and break open the seal on the envelope the courier leaves with glee, going, I know I'm going to laugh reading this. See, the only other show I ever had that with was The Critic, where the same writer, many of the same writers who worked on Futurama worked on The Critic, 16 years ago. But yeah, laugh out loud on these scripts where you're just reading them all.
I think one of the funniest lines I've ever read and cracked me up really hard was in the last episode where Zoidberg gets a girlfriend, and he goes on his he finally meets the girl that he's been video dating, and she's so repulsed by his smell, she says, "Oh, it's like Comic-Con in a submarine." And I think we all know what they're talking about.
There's a line like that in every.
Yeah, there is.
The bomb lines especially get me. Oh, God. Jam a bastard in it, you crap! Just the deal.
Yeah. But yeah, there's always stuff that cracks us up.
They're funny scripts. It's funny on the page. The typing is funny.
Rosie?
Hi. First, everything, what you all can do is so inspiring and fascinating to me. I'm really so impressed with how much range you have to create such vibrant characters. And what I'm curious about is, I just know me, and when I go home from work, I can't always turn it off. And I was curious, can you turn it off? Or, because what's fascinating is,
You're not a cop, are you?
no. If I could do what you do, I feel like I could either diffuse or exacerbate an argument at home. And I'm just curious, if you're fighting with someone and you break out an inventor, I feel like how do you stay mad at that? Or does it get really...
My girlfriend don't play that shit. Keep that robot in your pants. That's stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably take Futurama home, and do that at home, or if I had Futurama writers at home. But it's really not the same. I mean, it's like,
well, and could you sweet something of the other thing?
Playing around, sure, a little bit, but
Just it, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll turn on the girl every time I can. Can you dig it? Oh, yeah.
And I turn on the... as often as I can.
And we have the two phrases in my home where the only two phrases they ever say in Futurama and is the Chinese phrases when Inez is cursing or when Amy has to curse in Chinese. Now my children know those phrases.
That's Inez, that's a goodie. Yeah, I remember it too. They're all sitting around like, oh,
and now the Chinese children are leaving.
nigga how. Here we go. John nigga how. Okay, that's I'm gonna cut your head off. The second one is also lovely. Is Dasini, which means I'm gonna beat you to death.
Economy of language.
Dasini. Here we go. Dasini. There you go. Now you all know little Cantonese.
Somebody going to get stabbed in a Chinese restaurant tonight.
All right, John and Phil especially, you guys have pretty deep voices.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a question about blackness.
Well, that too. I did say it was about deep voices, didn't I? What do you guys do? What kind of exercises do you do to get into the higher registers?
Smoking and whiskey.
No.
To get in the higher register?
In the higher register? Yeah, like
get up early.
Like a super deep voice, like that kind of thing.
You know, you just try and warm up your voice and do, you know, try and get, you try and warm up your voice, do scales, you know, you try and just, you know, get it up there. You support, the most important thing you should do is support your voice with your diaphragm and with a lot of breath so that you can carry it. So, I mean, that's at least what I find. But usually I don't get tasked to do higher voices. They don't bring me into the kids a lot, you know what I mean?
One thing I will definitely say don't do is don't get a massage before a session. Remember when Warner Brothers was over in the Galleria and there was a spa near there? Yeah, Berkeley Spa. And one day, I know we had an afternoon session, 2 o'clock session, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go over early, take a little massage, be nice and relaxed for my job. Now what happens is, you know, you get a massage, you get really relaxed, and it's as if you have just woken up in the morning. And in the morning, your voice is, you know, it's the lowest that it is. And particularly, you don't have a higher range. So yeah, got an hour massage, I'm like, oh good, I've got 15 minutes. And then I had to go do Chris Rock. And it was just like, it's the first time in my career I ever felt flop sweat. You know, because you're just like, I can't do it. Because, you know, you wake up in the morning, yo, this is all happening. At 8:30 a.m. The upper register is gone. It's why it's like third day at a comic convention.
Yeah. You gotta be warm. You gotta be warm, you gotta be loose, you gotta be warm.
And with some age, some high end goes away.
Yeah, I don't know how you know it.
But I've lost my high end. I was a cigar smoker for 20 years. I quit 6 years ago, but I've paid for it. I don't have much high end left.
You don't need it, you're a Lexus guy.
Yeah,
You're a Lexus guy, huh? Lexus.
Good, well, good. The heartbeat of an accelerated driver.
Every time I see a Lexus ad, I'm like, that's my man Morgan. Hey. He's my uncle.
2013 Lexus GS. There's no going back. The high end is gone, so I'm going to say, I mean, because I know some of you like music voiceover. If you smoke, quit now. Because if you want your full range, just put cigarettes on your life. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
John, I love you as Jake the Dog on Adventure Time.
Thanks.
But my question is, what is one of your favorite episodes or movie for each one of you? Our Futurama.
Your favorite episode? Favorite episodes? God, I mean, I cannot watch Lucky the Friar Walk Ride.
That's one of my favorites too. Yeah, Jurassic Park is a killer.
Yeah. I just watched the Holophone episode. first one, where the fry with the worms.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great one.
Parasites Lost.
Yes, Parasites Lost, yes. Thanks, nerd. Anyway.
And Roswell and Amswell.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
That's awesome. The Reconcilable Indifferences is a personal fave. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, one I'm like prominent in, one I'm hardly in, but those are, in fact, I don't even think I'm in Luck of the Friars. But I mean, I love it. It's just, wow. I can get tearing up just thinking about it, man. Yeah. Somebody else talk.
I love the all the three-part episodes where they're like, they're three separate episodes, like the interest.
Yes.
The one recently with Bendy Bendy Boo, where are you?
Right.
Where are you?
It's strange because those don't get well reviewed by the reviewers. No, IGN was just like those anthologies where we step out of the Futurama reality. They don't like it. I love those episodes.
Yeah, I love those episodes.
The Fleischer one, where they're in black and white and doing the Fleischer.
That's a great one. Those are
I
awesome.
tend to like all the ones where I seem to hook up with all the different characters. So it's like put your head on my shoulders with Fry, and then one with Bender.
Oh yeah, that's right. Come on, Amy.
Proposition
Infinity. And then the one
Nerd
with
comes
Kim.
up with it again.
Yes.
One where we break up, and then I fall for the bad boy, and then we get back together.
You commit a little homosexuality there, though, baby. Oh yeah.
I'm still waiting for the Amy Hermes episode, but it's the only one I
I'm
think.
waiting for the Amy Gila episode. Oh my, can I just go good? What's that?
White Castle. Yes. Everybody loves me. White Castle.
No, you're right.
Everybody but Elvis.
I love how she just took over the room right here. She just kind awesome.
I'm just wondering, for each of you, is there any regional or national accent that you particularly enjoy or really hate having to do?
Oh. Philadelphia is really difficult. Philadelphia is really specific.
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia is really hard. I can't do Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh.
John.
Yeah.
The Pitt one, the Pitt accent, it's almost Chicago, but it's got some of its own unique, you know, sort of lip phones.
Well, the Philadelphia accent, I mean, that's the one, you know, that I find is so, it reminds me of the Boston, you know, to me, Philadelphia is to men, like, it's an accent that if a man has it, he sounds like a woman. Yeah, we're all going to the Eagles.
Get a cab.
We're getting a cab. And Boston is the opposite. Like, if a woman has it, she sounds like she's swinging teenagers.
Dude, I swear to God, go down to the packy there and get me a six-pack of Budweiser. Go get your mother a pack of Virginia Slim 100s Menthol.
You cannot be feminine with a Boston accent. And you cannot be masculine with a Philly.
And we'll be back here with a pitcher of gin and tonics waiting for you, because we're going to do laundry.
One that drives me nuts is when people do, being Canadian, when people try to do Canadian accents. Because we do not say oot, oot the boot. We don't say that, we say oot. I'm going to the boat, eh? Oh, and then I'm going to go on a boat. First I'm going to load the boat on the town, and then out on a boat. So there's that, and we don't say A at the end of everything.
Almost everything.
Canadians are confusing.
And then my favorite one to do, and Rob Paulson's very good at it as well, because he's a hockey player, so he interacts with a lot of French Canadians. The French Canadian accent is very specific, and very often when you'll see French Canadian characters, they're doing a Parisian accent. But the French Canadian accent, first of all, the first thing you do is put a H on the beginning of any letter that starts with a vowel. And then if it starts with a H, you then take that away from there and put it the other way. The thing is, on the side, talking about like this, when,
Lauren, you must have to do like pretty much every Asian accent.
Yeah, basically the Chinese, the Japanese. The Japanese can say R's but not L's, and the Chinese can say L's but not no, so no, it's the other way around.
Where does the H come into this?
And then for the G with Japanese, I love like the word spinning would be spinning. The hard G there.
Spinning a root.
And I'm from Chicago. I love the Chicago because they have the flat A, you know, like candy and ants and like that. That's always
We have like, how many minutes ago left?
all of them.
We only have time for one more question, unfortunately.
You better make it good. Pressure's on, honey.
It's going to be a sad one too. So collectively, after working on the show for so long, how do you guys feel now that Futurama is like finally over?
What a relief.
I'm so sick of it. Oh my God.
It's, you know, for me, I'll tell you, it's been one of the best experiences of my life. Please cue the music. And so, seriously, it's
You, the class of 2013.
Seriously, it's been one of the greatest professional and personal experiences of my life. I'm sad to see it go. But Matt Groening has more money than God, so I think I'm not worried about if it comes back or if it doesn't come back. Because
Matt Groening is taken care of.
Yes. But we still have you. So the show won't die.
Yeah, as long as you remember us, the show will be there.
Who are you?
Remember me!
I want to pay, I assume everybody in this room is going to be watching on Wednesday night for the final episode. If you can hook up to the Comedy Central website a half hour before, the podcast, Chris Hardwick, the Nerdist, is going to be interviewing, I think, the entire cast, and Matt and David, and then watch the episode and come back to the Comedy Central video podcast, and we'll be, asking wrap-up questions and watching us all gracefully pick the method of suicide that will be. But watch that. But I especially want you to watch. The Futurama opening where the starburst first happens and then the ship goes over. I'm not going to tip it off. Really watch. There's always something funny that they super up there. Watch. Don't miss the opening on Wednesday night. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Come see us at our table. Say hi.
Yeah, we're over at the Walk of Fame.
There will be a Simpsons episode where the Futurama cast, less one.
Oh my God!
Only one person is not going to be in it.
Can you believe they didn't write Amy into it?
But there will be one more Futurama story at least out there for you guys to enjoy at the end of next season or the beginning of the following season of The Simpsons. So we aren't completely gone yet. And you'll be there in spirit.
And please follow us on Twitter.